Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the Critic, and I hope you're doing well. And oh my goodness gracious! Last Jedi director Rian Johnson confirms his Star Wars trilogy is still in the works. Okay, so obviously, this is something that people can take in many different ways. People could say that, oh, he has to say this. He's just saying this to get people going, and maybe he doesn't know. Maybe, who knows at this point? Maybe it's all just a hoax at this point. And then there's the others who say, no, it's still going to happen. It's still going to be happening in some way. Maybe they've changed the form, but it's still going to happen. And all I can say is Disney, once again, if you're out there, if you're listening to this, again, I don't really expect you to be listening to me. I'm a very small channel, but I still want to put my voice out there. And I hope that you're listening. Disney, if you give Rian Johnson his own trilogy, it is going to make nothing! Absolutely nothing. And the reason why is this. When you actually look at the numbers here, once again, look at that audience score. And other people can say, oh, wait a minute, but that's Rotten Tomatoes. You can think everything on Rotten Tomatoes as it's supposed to be. Okay, all right, I hear you. I get you. I understand where you're coming from. But you cannot tell me that this number is as low as it is just because there are a bunch of internet trolls, Russian bots, or whatever it is you want to blame it. You cannot say that that's the reason why this score is as low as it is. If you want even more reason why this score is justified, look to how much less money The Last Jedi made compared to The Force Awakens. Look at how much money Solo is losing at the box office. Look at the current state of Star Wars. Look at the merchandising. The merchandising is probably one of the greatest places to see. Why do you think there are still Last Jedi figures out there going on sale, half price, almost giving it away? Because no one wants it. Nobody wants it because guess what? The people out there who are defending this film are most likely people who either don't collect merchandise or people who don't even own movies, who don't even buy the film. Because that's the other place you need to look to as well. If you go and check out the numbers for The Last Jedi, it has made, or rather, there have been 50% less units sold of The Last Jedi compared to The Force Awakens. Why do you think that's the case? And some people say, oh, it's because digital media. No, that's a cop-out answer. You could explain 5, 10, 15, maybe tops 20% of a drop on that. 50% tells you a hell of a much richer story, which is this. People don't want to buy it. People do not want to own this movie. And why? Why is that the case? Because it's a flawed film. And again, you can be that guy or girl, want to be inclusive here on this channel, you can be that guy or girl and say, you know what, I like The Last Jedi, and guess what? Great! I'm glad that you liked it. But what you can't do, you can like a bad movie. You can like a bad character. It's the same reason why, hey, look who I got up here. I got Rose Tico. I got my Tico right here. I love Rose Tico. I still admit that she's a terrible character. I still admit that Rian Johnson totally ruined any chance that she had of developing into a good character. But hey, I still love her nonetheless. Same thing with you guys. You can like a movie. You can like a bad character. But you cannot defend or explain away bad storylines, bad narrative, rather story or narrative lines, and you cannot explain away just bad filmmaking, just lazy filmmaking. And those are the problems with The Last Jedi, mostly from a narrative standpoint. Obviously, I can point to certain visual cues, certain cuts and things of that nature, and I can nitpick on those things. But the biggest thing, and the most notable thing, the biggest reason why The Last Jedi fails as a film is because of its narrative, especially when you remember that Star Wars The Last Jedi cannot be taken in isolation. You have to look at The Last Jedi compared to The Force Awakens. You have to look at The Last Jedi compared to the original trilogy, to the prequel trilogy. You have to take all of the films together because they all take place in the same universe. It just blows my mind that I even have to explain this to anyone. But that's where we are at this point. The fact that we have this story, the fact that The Last Jedi is being confirmed, and of course, how is it being confirmed? Well, it's just being confirmed on Twitter, Matt Allen apparently is very excited, saying, hey, Rian Johnson, are you still working on that Star Wars trilogy? I'm waiting for it. And he says, yep, fist bump. So it's been confirmed on Twitter, not in an official interview, not officially by Disney. Disney has remained rather hush-hush on this. It's very interesting that they have neither confirmed nor denied anything when it comes to Kathleen Kennedy, when it comes to Rian Johnson. And as I said in my video yesterday, they need to. If they want any chance, if they want any hope of this trilogy, of this universe really being salvageable from a financial standpoint, they got to do something. They have to do something, because what they're doing right now is just pissing people off, allowing Rian Johnson to go out there and say, yep, I still have my entire trilogy that I'm working on, is making people mad. Because what it tells people is, okay, so Disney hasn't changed. Disney hasn't learned from The Last Jedi, because they're keeping this guy on, who again is a self-admitted plot-stealing, terrible writer, and and he just doesn't know what he's doing. Again, go ahead and YouTube, you can Google those clips yourself. He admits he's not good at writing. He admits that writing is his weak point. He hates writing. He's not very good at writing. He says this himself, and guess what? We can easily confirm that by looking at his narrative, because when you compare, as I said, you have to compare this film to its previous films. You cannot just take this film in isolation, especially in this new trilogy. When you look at The Force Awakens sets up some very clear plot points that The Last Jedi not just ignores, but just says, wait, there's plot points? Wait, well, what plot points were set up? They just go in entirely different directions. They drop things I just do not understand how, again, you can like a movie. You can say, hey, I had fun. Hey, I like this. I like that. You can like it. I'm not telling you that you can't like it. I'm not the like police saying, oh, no, you're not allowed to like this movie. No, I'm not going to do that. But I will say, because again, I've had this conversation several times before, there is an objective view. When it comes to film, there's an objective and a subjective view. The perfect example that I give you is The Room. The best, worst movie of all time. Why do we say that? Because objectively speaking, it is a terrible movie. It has terrible writing, terrible acting, terrible pacing, terrible editing, terrible film. Everything about it, objectively speaking, is really bad. But subjectively, so many people love it for all of those reasons. Which is why, subjectively, you can like The Last Jedi. But you cannot deny that there are clear, objective, narrative flaws. And I'm not trying to say The Last Jedi is as bad as The Room. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that there are objective flaws. And if you want more, again, I mention this guy so much because he's great. Matthew Kadish, look him up. Medium.com, Matthew Kadish. He's a great guy. And he is able to look from a storycraft perspective, from a narrative perspective, from a, again, objective perspective as to why there are certain elements that exist within The Last Jedi that just do not work from a narrative standpoint. Not just in comparison to to The Force Awakens, but also even within its own contained narrative. It doesn't make any damn sense. And so here's what I want you to do. If you're still one of those persons, I don't know why you'd be watching this video, or even why you'd gotten this far in this video, but if you're still watching this video and you are someone who is a diehard defender of The Last Jedi, leave me a comment and let me know, just very briefly, why you like The Last Jedi. What do you think is good about it? Why do you think it's a good movie? I honestly would like to know. If you go on a diatribe and give me an entire essay's worth of why The Last Jedi is your favorite film and why I'm wrong and why it's all about race and sex and gender and blah, 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 you're just a hater, etc., etc., I'm not going to read that. I'm going to see it. I'm just going to skim through it and say, okay, well, obviously this person just does not agree with me, and that's totally fine. Again, you don't have to agree with me. No one who watches my stuff has to agree with me. But if you're going to disagree with me, you got to be able to give me a good example. What about The Last Jedi is so good that it, at the very least, forgives or is able to surpass its narrative flaws? And also, too, let me know in that same comment, do you believe that it is narratively perfect? Because if you believe it's narratively perfect, again, check out Matthew Kadish, do some introspection, some looking inside, and realize that you're wrong. And I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not afraid to say that because it's true. You're wrong. Narratively, it is broken. And if you want examples, if you want hardcore proof of that, again, check out Matthew Kadish. But if you even want just surrounding proof, why would it get an audience score of 46%? Why would it be that low? And if you're going to try and say, oh, it's because there's a bunch of racists and sexists out there who artificially drove the score down, okay, Really? Because I mean, if you want to talk about the racism and sexism argument, again, I just have one film to show you. Actually, I have two films to show you. And I'm gonna do this live because that is what I do here. That is what I do. So you say, oh, it's a bunch of racists and sexists. Well, I guess those racists and sexists took a day off on this score. 88% people liked Wonder Woman. I wonder why that is. Could it be because it was actually a pretty damn entertaining film? Did it have its flaws? Absolutely, but at least it was entertaining. At least it stayed consistent, which is why a lot of people liked it. And guess what? She's Israeli. I guess the racists just took a day off on that one. Oh, and then let me see. There's another one here. I don't remember, like, how did this movie do again? Like, I mean, stupid me, right? Like, I can't remember. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. Even this film. See, I would even say that's probably with racists and sexist, or rather with racists trying to drive down the score. And guess what? That still got up to 79%. Yeah. So what you're telling me is that for The Last Jedi, compared to every other film, it is the only film that you can point to where there were racists and sexists, where there were bots, Russian bots, whatever it is when you call it. That's the only film that was attacked. That's why The Force Awakens still has a very high audience score. That's why every other film that I've just pointed out has a very high audience score. Because they just took a day off. Again, numbers don't lie. And I'm a numbers guy, and I look at what's right in front of me. But anyway, guys, what are y'all's thoughts on this? Please let me know in the comment section. Do you think that Rian Johnson... I didn't even bother reading the rest of this because you just know when it's coming from this site that it's just going to be total hot garbage. So I'm not even going to read through it all. But what are y'all's thoughts on this? Do you think that Rian Johnson's trilogy is still active? Do you think that it should be canceled? Do you believe, like me, once again, the two main things that Disney needs to do is to fire Kathleen Kennedy and to cancel this damn trilogy? Because if they keep going in this, it's not going to be good for them. But guys, thank y'all so much for watching. Y'all are amazing. And again, I know I can be negative sometimes, but you know what? That's what happens when you start off a video saying I am the critic. I'm a cynical person. You know, some people always usually say like, oh, you seem so happy. You seem so you seem so uplifting sometimes. You seem so positive. And there are some things that I can be positive about. But again, I'm a cynical person. So if you have a problem with me hating on this film, I'm sorry, but that's just how I am. So anyway, guys, thank y'all so much for watching. Y'all are amazing. Every person that watches my videos daily and just help support the channel, y'all are fantastic. I mean, I could not thank you guys enough for being there, for supporting the channel. It's been awesome. It's been such a great experience. It's been so cool. We're at 3,200 subs right now, and just the fact that the possibility of 5K is doable within the next 3-4 months is just amazing to me, and I'm very excited, and I cannot wait to go on this journey. And don't worry, I do still have things planned for 3K. Things have just been crazy ever since people found out at school that I do YouTube. So I've been kind of having to tinker with some things and trying to figure something out. But don't worry, it's going to happen. And also, if you have not voted for this week's movie of the week, again, we are watching a comedy this week. Right now, Clue is in the lead with 37 votes, and Blazing Saddles and Three Amigos are essentially very close behind with 19 and 18 votes, respectively. So if you want to vote in that, I will have a link to that poll in the description of this video. And hey, vote. Even if you're not going to watch it, vote for your favorite comedy. Anyway, guys, thank y'all so much for watching. Have a great day. And as always, God bless.